Hello, I'm John, the executive producer here at Final Show Films. I got a few notes for you before the show. First, I want to thank you all for watching. We couldn't do what we do or the amount of things that we do without the support of you, the viewer. If you want to support us financially, which we always appreciate, you can go to our Patreon page at patreon.com/fsfilms, where you can donate as little as $1 a month to help us continue this and all the things that we do. I want to give a special shout out to our $25 supporters, Antitonic, Waterflame, and Samantha Bates. Second, I want to let you all know that we here at Final Show Films are planning a little get-together up at Gen Con this year. That's August 2nd through 5th up at Indianapolis. We're going to be up there just sort of hanging out, enjoying the con, spending time together, and if any of you guys want to come up and say hi, please feel free. We don't bite unless you want us to. And if you enjoy whatever it is you're about to watch or listen to, be sure to check out our website at finalshowfilms.com, where you can find links to all of our other content, both podcast and video. And be sure to follow me at John A. Bates on Twitter for more updates on all of the content we're creating in the future. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy. So we're live.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Star Wars: Edge of the Empire. I am Aaron, your GM, and joining us today and remembering to roll Destiny, which we have been kind of inconsistent about remembering, is going to be Kat.
Oh, hi, I am Kat. I am playing Powder, the surgical droid, and I got us a light side.
And John?
I'm John, I'm playing Ares Artinos, the Mandalorian mercenary soldier, and I got a dark side.
Great. And Jeremy?
Hi, I am Jeremy. I'm playing Corey Kane, Human Outlaw Tech. Somebody please roll Destiny for me.
Okay. Let me get your character sheet.
Oh, wait. This might it might be coming up. We will see. 20, you're the worst.
I mean, I can just hit the button on my character sheet. It'll still
Yeah.
functionally be the same.
Yeah, no.
And we are having Roll20
Well,
slowdown issues.
That's another
Yes.
dark side point.
So, apologies for that, everyone.
Jeremy rolled another dark side point.
Okay. Cool. Spencer?
I am Spencer, playing Sai, the Twi'lek Rebellion ambassador. Another dark side.
On a roll, folks.
Uh-huh.
Right. And Jack?
Jack is currently messing with his mic. And who we can't hear. There we go.
I'm Jack, and I'm playing R3RN Rerun, the astromech mechanic and saboteur. Too dark side. I'm twice as evil as all y'all.
All right. And I'm actually going to roll the obligation this week because I keep fucking forgetting that I should do that. And 11 does hit obligations. And you know what? 11 is actually the one I was going to go for anyway. Rerun. Your betrayal obligation is kind of in full play. You are much closer by all metrics that you have to Tunguska than you have been. And you'd like for that to be a thing that explodes. So you're at a reduced strain threshold by 2. Everyone else's thresholds are reduced by 1.
Time to fuck this asshole up.
Yeah.
Kick ass!
And last week on Star Wars: Edge of the Empire, Afterlight Skies, the group was on a gray planet with a dying sun and a toxic atmosphere. They're inhabited by a colony of droids that did not want to be a part of other society, and by a giant trees. It encompasses the entire planet, but it is one entity. that did not very much like the reversal of the polarity of the
Oh, the tractor beam
beam.
thing?
of
Deflect
the
your
tractor
shield.
beam. So the group retreated into low atmosphere, discussing what to do next, especially given that one of their members, Ares Artinos, was unable to be tracked and had not returned. It seems that comms are challenging to get working on this planet. Rerun having one that specifically he can contact their droid allies, contacts, associates.
Yep.
But with the threat that the trees will kill anything that lives in an organic fashion and a slaver colony up above, the group goes in posing as buyers with a level of success, escorted around the compound by a Zygarian social ambassador or working for Tikan's complex. They're starting to learn more about this location. Last week we left off with the group saying that they would go down to the area where the slaves are kept and then perhaps later see more specific individuals. But we're not going to pick up there quite yet. Ares, your head really fucking hurts. And as you sort of reach up to, like, just check that your helmet is in place, you're definitively, it's not. You can feel the hair on your back of your head, and you can feel the general awareness that the helmet that you often wear, even out of combat, is not in place. Bits and pieces of what happened are coming back to you. As you were jumping through the trees, suddenly they were red, and the treescape was less navigatable, and something very heavy hit you from behind.
When last we checked, the atmosphere was not breathable.
Well, it was incredibly toxic, and while you could breathe it, it would get you in a bad state in a matter of minutes.
Yeah.
Though you're not having that issue right now.
So I'm looking for my helmet.
Okay. As you look around, you're greeted by the white lights that strike you immediately as those of a med bay. You can see some readouts around you, though you're still a little too bleary-eyed to make out the exact details on faraway screens. You don't see your armor. You do notice you're also not wearing your armor. Can't find any of your weapons.
Is there anything nearby that looks like a scalpel or a blade of any kind?
Make me a perception check.
Even if it's just a
Difficulty 2.
sturdy piece of metal. Perception, you said?
Mm-hmm.
A success and a threat.
The room is largely barren. There's the bed of the med bay itself that you are on, which does have which has some limited cushioning to it, but it doesn't seem to have any sharp or easily wieldable sides. There's no ominous side of scalpels to cut up a fucker with, unfortunately.
Is there a chair?
The one you're on.
Is my arm still attached?
Your mechanical arm is still attached to you.
Okay. Can I get up? Is the next question, I guess.
Yeah, you're a little bit dizzy if you've ever been hit very hard in the back of the head by something wooden or metal.
Presumably a tree.
Presumably a tree. Yeah, there's a bit of blurriness and possible concussion that always comes from that, but you can sit up.
Yeah, my objective right now is to figure out where the hell I am and where the hell my shit is, so I am attempting to move towards the door.
Okay.
And if there's anything loose that could be wielded as an improvised weapon, I will be grabbing it.
Again, you've looked around this room and it's fairly barren. As you walk towards the door, you start to hear some level of conversation from the other side of it.
I will try to listen in and understand it.
Okay.
if I
Yeah,
can.
you already succeeded that check, so yeah. You hear low voices, but they seem to be on the directly other side of the door from you, though there are no windows. So you can hear it fairly clearly. Look, Tegan doesn't want to be bothered with stuff right now. If we bring this to her, it'll cause a freak out, and then we'll lose what we're actually here for. So we just pretend, oh, hey, we brought it along for sport, and now we're making an offering or something. It's no big deal. Then there's a response back in a sort of softer voice. I can administer some sedatives, but we genuinely might want to be concerned if there's others wandering around this planet.
Okay. Looking back at the table that I was on, does it seem like I could rip off one of the legs?
It would be tough, but you could probably... You know those, like, guide rails that are on the side of most medical beds so that you don't injure yourself?
Oh, if they've got one of those, definitely that.
Try and get one of those. It will be difficult and noisy, but you can go for it.
Yeah, I want to see if I can get one of those off.
Okay. So that's going to be an athletics difficulty of 4.
Okay. I'm going to use our only light side point.
Okay.
Because I need a weapon. I'm good with my fists, but I'm better with a weapon.
All right. So yeah, roll for that.
Upgrade. Whoa-blam. Nope, that's 3 failures. Just break the fucking thing.
You break part of it off, but the problem is you only get the bottom part, and you're trying to, mostly with your metal arm, leverage off the top part, and it makes this incredibly loud clang sound. But you don't manage to break both sides off, so it's still adhered to the chair.
Got it.
The voices immediately stop.
Well, that's fun. I'm gonna go stand right next to the door. Like, is it like where I can like stand on either side of it? Or is it?
It's one of those sliding Star Wars doors that they have in most places in Star Wars.
But is it like in a wall, or is it in like a recessed part of the wall where you can't be hidden?
It's not. So the wall next to it is flat. However, the door does not swing either way.
Yeah.
So you can't hide behind the part of the door that's.
Well, that's fine. I just want to stand to the side of the door so that you don't immediately see me from the outside of the room.
All right. Because you're already aware of them, there's some commotion outside. I thought you said he was out there or Only 10 minutes. He shouldn't be waking up quite yet. Physiology differences? Look, just get the situation under control. We have plenty of tools to deal with it. And if you don't want to deal with it, just hand it off to Teakin's folks. Fine. Fine. Make me a vigilance check difficulty of 2.
Vigilante. 3 successes.
So you're sort of waiting for potentially someone to come in, but also scanning the room for any advantages. And you do notice a security camera on the corner of the room making sweeps, sort of sweeping back and forth, clearly stopping and focusing where you are in the room.
How far away from me is it?
You're next to the door, so it's probably sort of on the opposite wall from you in the corner.
Do I still have that little piece of, like, do I still have, or did I like bring
You
off a
didn't
piece?
manage to get a piece off. You
Okay.
just managed to unhinge half
Got
of
it, got
the
it.
lower end of
All right.
the rail.
Well, I need to disable that camera first, so I would like to go over and rip it out of the wall. Or at least break it in some reasonable fashion that it will stop reporting information.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so it is definitely higher up than you. This room is fairly tall.
Mhm.
So I'm just going to make this athletics with 2 setback die because you are trying to jump up and
Yeah.
grab something and manage to pull it apart.
Mhm.
2 setback, difficulty of 2. It's a fair difficulty of 3 as it's a fairly small object.
Okay. 2 successes and 2 advantages.
Yeah, with that, and this manages to be far quieter. You leap up and sort of crush the camera, twisting it off the wall, and it doesn't fall off of the wall, but it's sort of dangling now, and you drop back down from there.
I will resume my position on, not visible from immediately the door.
Okay.
Though not the same side, the other side, because now they've seen me, so.
Yeah. They're not quite stupid enough to wander in right after you disabled the camera,
I know.
unfortunately.
But they're gonna have to come in here at some point if they want to take me.
Hmm?
Actually,
Maybe they
looking around while I'm waiting and while I'm looking around, do I see any sort of ventilation shaft or anything that, any sort of weak point in the wall other than the door?
Gonna Ezra this room.
You see some ventilation grills to the floor, but nothing that's
Literally, I'm looking for any way I can get out of the room other than the door.
nothing that looks openable particularly.
Yeah. And I doubt the door is openable. At least from this end.
From what you can tell, it is not. There is
Yeah.
not a control panel on this side. The door does not automatically open when you go near it.
I thought most Star Wars doors were motion activated like this.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is not a capability Ares has.
I am not a Force user. Actually, because I've got a little bit before they're willing to come into a room where they know there's an active Mandalorian. Is the camera in? Are there any? Did any sharp pieces fall off when I broke the camera?
That would be convenient, and if you had a light side point, you could definitely use it for that.
That's why I was asking, because I don't have a light side point.
So, at this point, we're going to transition back to the rest of the group. So, you are led into the secure part of the compound and towards one of the buildings on the side. you can see that, especially from this courtyard area, the statue sort of looms over, glaring down in your direction. The presence of it is almost suffocating. Yep. And you head over towards the area that he explains are the slave quarters. We keep all of them here when we're not during training and while they're not actively needed. Many of the training facilities are, of course, within the quarters themselves. Some of them are outside in the courtyard or for more delicate social matters. We, of course, utilize the penthouse and other amenities areas. And then you open up this area. He opens up the main door and ushers you into sort of a waiting hall. That door closes behind you, and afterwards another door opens on the inside. If you've ever been to like a butterfly house or something like that where they don't want to let any critters in or out, that sort of door system.
Yeah, but obviously for more of a security reason than the
I mean,
creepy crawly reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's obviously for more of a security reason. I was just trying to think of an accurate way of describing that setup.
I just want everybody to appreciate the fact that I managed to refrain from making a D&D player joke about critters.
But you didn't refrain from making a reference to the joke, though.
You are correct, but that is not the same thing as making a joke.
In some cases, it's worse.
Anyway.
I've just taken to waiting until you guys burn yourselves out. Yep. So, the four of you, I assume, continue in with the gentleman. He will sort of gesture to either side, and he totally does have a name.
Arik.
Yes. He has a name and a character sheet.
Names are good. We like names.
Yeah. And Arik will sort of gesture around. This first corridor area is largely empty at the moment, and unfortunately. You do see to either side of you there are transparent glass-walled, clearly small cells or cages. Each of them has a rough sort of cot bed to one side, but no other like features or amenities.
So it's pretty just like bare minimum.
Yeah.
In terms of living quarters for the slaves, which makes sense. They're slaves.
Yeah. This area is, of course, used as a showroom if there's an auction or other larger event for buyers such as yourself. So we also have off to the side, if you'd like to see it now, we can, but it's not currently in use, a more private showroom if you require people with specific talents or characteristics. We can bring all of our available stock to one area and have you assess things there, or assess their capabilities, test things out. Off to this side, we have the medical suites. It's, again, if you need to do any of your own testing or vetting of product, we make those available for such uses.
I see. I have my own personal medical droid here to do such a thing, but the amenities in the room would be of much aid if that is necessary. I see that you've got quite a few showrooms. Do you get quite a bit of business out here, even though and I kind of like gestured like more towards like the world. The location is a little hospitable, but it makes sense why.
Well, some of our clientele is discerning enough to want to be sure that they are getting accredited product directly from the source. We, of course, also who bring our stock out to larger, more friendly auctions, but that some prefer to meet this location where it is.
Some people
Gotcha.
prefer a handcrafted, locally manufactured artisanal slave.
I'm not. Yeah.
Are we buying honey? Is that what this is? Are we buying honey right now? That's awesome.
Yeah. And we do occasionally host auctions on planet itself. I'm afraid there aren't any scheduled for quite a while, as we are not currently under a heavy shipment. Of course, we have great variety.
Of course.
And for those that are currently viewable, well, just for a standard walkthrough, please follow me this way.
We follow.
As that is being said, I want everyone. Actually, no. Powder, I want you specifically to make me a vigilance roll, difficulty 2.
Rerun is scanning for any sort of security features, so if he needs to roll for that at any point.
Yeah. Yeah, so now that you're in this building specifically, make me a perception.
Okay. Difficulty 2 for me as well.
Oh,
One failure for me.
never mind.
1 success, 1 advantage.
Okay, cool.
At least one of us is successful in something.
Yeah, so Rerun, you do... sorry, Spot, in addition to the doors themselves, it seems like all of this is likely controlled to some extent remotely. And it does seem from the way he operates doors and stuff that there's like only X number of doors can be open at any given time, caveat to the basic design of the building.
Okay. But is he doing anything to open the doors directly, or does he stand in front of it and wait, or like key a pad or something, and then it is eventually opened for him?
From what you see with one, it seems like he does do something specific at each of the doors. You don't exactly catch how he interacts with the panel.
Okay.
Though you would also notice that it seems in every room, including the exit room, there is a large red panic button. You can assume that just shuts everything down and potentially activates some safeguard or another.
Yeah, lockdown.
Okay. So over the private comm to Psy, Rerun will just broadcast. Definitely a central control sort of place. Security is very tight.
It's almost more of a prison than a slave's quarters, in my opinion.
As one would definitely expect for security of the product.
I think if Rerun is sort of kind of just keeping Psy in the loop as he sees things, I think you definitely would see Psy heavily eye the red panic button for like a brief second, like mental note that's where that is, and then go back on with the show sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then Rerun looks at Corey to see how she's doing.
I feel like we all periodically look at Corey to see how Corey's doing.
with the eyes bugged out.
Yeah.
I am a
Trying
non-threatening
very hard not to freak
statue.
out.
I am a very non-threatening statue.
Actually, given your background, Corey, you're gonna need to make me a cool roll for just general composure.
Oh, good. That's my best roll. It's not my best roll.
Difficulty 2.
Okay.
A failure on this is not automatically awful. It just, you will...
You know, we only have one light side point. Let's hand that over to Aaron.
No, we
We
don't.
had-
No, we
No,
don't. I
don't
used
even
it
have
already.
Aaron-
one light.
Then why
Does
did it not?
Aaron... Oh.
Hit sync pool
I'll
with GM.
try and force your update.
Yeah, no, it's 0
There,
to 6
now
right
it's
now.
synced. Now it's synced.
We got
Sorry.
a big goose egg.
Yeah.
That's okay. I didn't need any chance to succeed on this.
We
I
got
used it to
nothing.
try and give myself a better advantage when ripping off of the bar of the bed. It didn't work.
No, yeah, I heard that, but you got to
Yeah.
remember, I wasn't in roll 20 when you guys were doing the
Yeah.
test.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
3 advantages.
Not bad.
With 3 advantages, this is reminiscent of bad things you have experienced in the past, but you're keeping it together. Potentially a little bug-eyed, not entirely calm, but you're keeping it together. You're also noticing things that the others aren't because you're pretty familiar with... Comparatively, you're familiar with this kind of setup.
Right.
The front area is definitely not intended for people to be in long term. That's the first thing you might pick up. The others likely wouldn't. You also notice that on the sort of side where he indicated the med bay, there is what just looks like a standard LED, one of those flashing LED Star Wars panels that's sort of everywhere.
Right.
But you notice that there's like greens and grays and a yellow and a red. It seems like that might indicate which of the rooms are either in use or have certain... Yeah.
Okay.
It seems like some sort of status thing for the med bay.
All right. I am correct in remembering, and I may not because this has happened a few times in this game, but I am correct in remembering we were offered some sort of refreshments, right?
You were back at the kitchen. Not in here at the moment, but
Corey's just walking around with a big gulp.
essentially, yeah.
If she keeps drinking something, she doesn't have to say anything.
That's fair.
All right, so we move on.
Yep.
Yeah, I will make a note of that, and it'll be good
Yeah.
information. But I'm not going to wander over there right now to see.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That would be bad.
All right. Yeah. So as you walk through to the next area, again meeting these double doors of one opens, one closes, you who are let out into an area, and this is the first place that you see people. The vast majority of them are humans. You spot one... you spot one Rhodian woman off in one of the cells. There's about 8, maybe 10 people here. All of them seem to hear you enter and sort of look up. As you walk through this area, each of them seems to be occupied with some task or another. There's a woman who's within this cell has a loom that she seems to be working at. One has sort of small mechanical bits and baubles that she's putting together into... Corey, you probably recognize it as sort of a standard drill. Okay, which bits of this make an engine component?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
sort of thing. This is part of the practice and training area. The individuals here are, of course, there's all quite well trained, but practice and repeated insurance that skills do not dwindle and additional skills are acquired on a regular and appropriate basis is part of our guarantee with our product. He'll sort of gesture around. Of course, not all of the skill sets may be of interest to you specifically, but please, he's asked us about anything you might be curious to see one of ours do in more detail. He looks over to one of the areas which has some what looks like basic exercise equipment in it, and gestures to the man there. For example, handstand. The guy kind of gives a slight apprehensive look, not quite a glare, but a look of discomfort, as he does comply and easily enough sort of flips up into a handstand and for a few seconds before flipping back down.
Very impressive.
Reruns trying to get an attitude read on the techie one.
The one with I'm gonna say cool with one setback die because you're on the other side of glass in a situation where she's not inclined to be open to you.
Okay.
But yeah, this is cool for sort of standard reading of a person.
Difficulty 2.
Yep.
1 failure, but 2 advantage.
It is hard to read what her general disposition is, aside from a little bit deflecting. After noticing that you entered, definitely looks back down at what she's working on and redoubles her efforts on that. Which could mean she wants to avoid you, could mean that she's very interested in getting this right now. You do catch another person that also has what you'd assume to be some sort of tech-related task at the moment. And that Rhodian man I mentioned before, who's putting together sort of screws, little more mechanical than, little less mechanical, little more digital. There's this flash of desperation and maybe slight optimism when you guys enter. It's hard to read exactly.
So sad.
Yeah. Beyond that, is there anything specific you were hoping to look for?
Rerun will just whistle in binary then to Siolo, who he does not know if Siolo speaks binary at all. Well, we'll probably want to at least try and give them some more specific technological evaluation.
Of course, we have particular needs.
And he's watching particularly to see if anybody on the other side of the glass understands what he just said.
With the roll you rolled before, you're not sure.
Okay.
Everyone currently in your crew definitely understands because Ares is the one that doesn't speak binary and he's not here. But yeah.
Okay.
You're pretty sure that your tour guide doesn't understand, but is taking it in stride.
No problem.
That's good to know.
Yeah. So, beyond this area, we have housing in quarters. I apologize. Most of those that are in this area will likely be sleeping and
Of course.
resting between activities. If you have specific questions for any of them, we can wake them, but it is recommended that sleep is given on a regular basis to all products so that they're in top condition.
Of course, no. If there's any specifics down the road, we can simply set aside a personal viewing, like you mentioned before.
Of course, sir. Yeah, and you head into this next area. This, again, there's cages on either side. These are set up less with like tables and little bits and baubles, and set up more like actual living quarters might be. Oh my God, I'm such a Californian. Ever gone on the tour of Alcatraz?
No.
No.
I didn't get to go there when I went down to San Francisco.
But I did see The Rock. Does that
Yes,
help?
yes, I did.
I
seen that
have no idea.
The Rock
But I-
involves
but I did
Alcatraz
see
getting
The
taken
Rock.
over and in the middle of a tourist trip.
Right.
So
I've seen The Rock, and I've seen that
Wait,
episode of
based
Charmed.
on the actual events, or
Did Ed Harris try and kill the entire Bay Area with nerve gas? Because otherwise, it's probably
No.
not the actual event.
there was?
Okay.
I will not tangent there right now. I'll just say that it's a landmark with some fascinating history, and anyone who goes to the Bay Area should absolutely visit. It might be touristy, but it's really interesting.
no, yeah.
Um,
There was
so,
also
yeah,
a TV
I-
show called Alcatraz. That
Like I said, I looked it up because I've watched that
Anyway.
episode of Charmed. So
I'm terrible.
Yeah.
Go.
It's fine. I'm used to this. I brought it on myself this time. But yeah, these areas have more than cots, like slightly functional jut out of the wall beds, off to the side, latrine-esque areas. The things that water comes out of sinks, etc.
So kind of bare minimum facilities.
Yeah.
Okay.
And sort of as you're walking through this area, the vast majority of people are asleep. Corey, I need you to roll me a
Another cool roll.
difficulty 4 cool roll.
Yep. That's okay. I figured this was coming. No, it's okay. I am perfectly fine around making the people perform like trained seals and whatever horror show is going on in here. So that's 2
So-
failures and 3 threats.
I trust you to decide how you react to this information, but you definitely have not steel yourself for it. You are not expecting this. As you're walking through, you can't help but sort of glance over each of the people here to some extent. And you definitely recognize one of the people. As you look through, you see someone, and that's your mom.
I'm gonna need a
She's-
moment.
Currently asleep.
oh shit!
I'm gonna need a moment.
For those of you playing the bingo game, backstory moment. Square check.
So she stops, and there's the sound of a loud thunk as the cup hits the ground,
I turn around.
and she's just kind of staring.
Powder, do you have internal comms? I can't remember. Rerun would know.
No.
I think I'm the only one.
Unfortunately, Not.
Okay.
You and Sai have internal comms. Corey and Powder do not.
Psy, bad medical reaction. Get Powder to treat her.
Is like looking when I turn around, looking to where Corey's looking. Is the Corey's immediate response? Is it obvious? Like Corey looks like her mom. Like this obviously is some relative. I may not know it's her mother, but there's a familiar
Jeremy?
resemblance.
Vague.
Vague. Okay.
Vague. It's there. And Corey's reaction is this combination of like stunned, shocked, horrified.
I quickly approach Corey, like hand on shoulder, and just like, is your heart acting up again? Are you all right?
I mean, your heart is acting up. That's not.
That
the
is
cause,
not
but
inaccurate.
it is the symptom.
And Powder is trying so hard at this moment to act like I have to wait for instructions.
That's really unfortunate.
Do we need a break? We can postpone the tour until you're feeling better.
And she turns around and just starts walking.
Back towards the exit.
No,
What direction? The direction we were going?
the direction that she was facing. So I guess she doesn't turn.
I'll say you can't turn around
Okay.
and then walk in the direction
She
you were
does.
facing.
No, she does.
He does a
She
360.
You can. It's just very awkward.
She
You
does.
can do a 360.
He does the Zoolander thing where he can only make right turns.
Right. Okay.
The Nick Miller New
No,
Girl thing
but
where
are you-
she's moonwalking out of a stressful situation.
In all seriousness, I mean, she just sort of turns and then just goes.
Is that so towards your mother?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
How does Auric react to that before I do anything?
That's what I'm trying to see. Is
Rerun panics and throws a grenade.
actually
No, he does not.
okay. I have to check,
At
and
my
I will
mother?
quickly check whenever that sort of thing comes up.
No, not at your mother.
I mean,
He doesn't know who this person is or why Corey's reacting. He's
Okay.
trying to.
Sai, roll me
a grenade would
a
help me, maybe.
deception check with one. I think deception's the check with one setback.
Because Rerun said something to Sai in internal comms, right?
Correct.
Rerun hasn't said
Okay.
anything out loud. Rerun's going to attempt to assist Sai on this by freaking out in binary. Just spouting gibberish, though.
All right.
What's the difficulty?
The trees.
How loud are you being with that?
Reasonably loud. Like,
You're
But if you
definitely
don't speak
starting
English,
to
it
wake
just-
people up.
sure.
With random, fairly loud binary. Okay, so you get a boost die, but you've got a setback die essentially from not having other actor support from Corey at the moment.
Okay, what's the difficulty?
Is 2.
Okay. Deception. I've got a success, 4 advantages, and a triumph.
So with the 4 advantages, unless you want to spend them on something specific.
With 4 advantages, I do want to. Can advantages be like? Can it be scene related, like involving one of the NPCs, like one of the slaves? Is that an option?
Sorry, go ahead, Aaron.
There are specific things listed in the rule set.
Oh Jesus. Okay.
So for deception, advantages are usually to increase the value of goods, services, or otherwise.
Mhm.
Triumphs are that the target can be spent that the target believes you to be trustworthy. Future checks are not generally opposed.
Mhm.
Okay, definitely
Yeah.
want that for the triumph. Like Aric's my boy moving forward.
Yeah, or Arik is taken by your ability to handle the situation well, definitely. But in
I guess-
terms,
I
yeah.
guess in terms of the advantages, I really want to be portraying a genuine, because something obviously is happening outside of us trying to trick this guy. So I want to be genuinely showing concern and worry for my crewmates, so that no matter what lie I come up with, that feeling and facial and body language is still genuine, even though it's a lie.
Okay. Yep. All right. You can. Yep. So yeah, you're clearly concerned about something, and you seem to know something he doesn't about the details of apparently Corey's heart situation. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. So he doesn't. Yes. Well, do you need? If you need, we can head back to the medical bay, or Corey just sort of starts walking onwards.
Actually, what I think might be best is we may just want to retire to our rooms for right now, if that's okay. I would love to finish this tour later on, but obviously I need to attend to my crew. However, I would like to make a mental note. And I point to the slave that Corey's walking towards. Obviously, there's something going on there. I would love to have a one-on, personal viewing of that slave in particular later on, if that's all right with you.
Of course, just so you're aware, even at personal viewings, we do have certain standards of how uninjured we'd like our product to remain. I hope you understand that we may want to have someone in the area. He's looking at Corey a bit nervously because Corey earlier came off like a deeply unstable person.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
At that
now
moment,
has narrowed down on a target. So he's just trying to protect the product without putting himself between you two. Of course, if you'd follow me this way, we can get you to your rooms. As I have mentioned before, should anything come up, the medical facilities are available at the guard station. We also have a few trained slaves and others to bring around any additional equipment you might desire to have in your room for medical concerns.
Powder will
Wow! But yes, so people are waking up at this point. Corey, your mother sort of seems to blink, but just sort of rolls over, trying to ignore the noise.
Okay.
She's definitely breathing. She's definitely somewhat aware, but has not opened her eyes enough to notice the specific situation.
Okay.
Though other people around her have started waking up because Rerun is making lots of sounds.
Right.
That don't make any sense, if that helps her.
Except for one phrase.
Well, I was gonna say when the dude started saying we can take you away, whatever, Powder will say to Sai, "Would you like me to sedate her again, sir?"
Yes, that might be necessary. Just go get the crew. And I even look to Rerun and sort of be close in case Corey flips up more than we're expecting, and you need to bump and help Powder as well.
And Powder is going to go over to Corey.
And Rerun comes behind you with a small little electric prod out and a little in between the prongs.
We aren't going to throw this mission in the middle of the slave quarters.
Yeah, not so much.
Okay. Sorry, Rerun, you said there was one phrase that made sense. I didn't catch that part.
Oh, yeah. No, I didn't vocalize it. It was in chat. Just Powder, go get Corey.
Yeah.
Okay. So. Corey, are you just staying at the glass there, or are you trying to move down the aisle?
No, she's just staying there. She's trying to... She just sort of freezes there for the moment. Like, in that I want to say things or do something, but I don't know. Like, there's a short in the system right now.
So you would notice Powder behind you, but you may not be in a position to act on it. So Powder, what are you doing immediately?
Powder is going to lean down toward Corey and say, "We will figure this out. Calm down and come with me. Otherwise, I will have to paralyze you."
Do 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 do.
I mean, that probably helped a little.
And you can see the needle with what you know to be the neuroparalytic inside of it.
Nope.
Is pointed at you.
Droid, what droid? She is completely ignoring Powder.
Okay. Powder is going to try to like put one arm on you to see if that like knocks you out of your stupor. And
Which is right about when Rerun collides with your other leg. Bang!
I mean, that's two really bad failures in a row. She's not paying any attention.
Okay.
Okay.
Drop her.
Powder will turn. Powder will turn to Rerun. Help me and say in binary. Help me carry her away from the window. And then like kind of drop Corey so that she's kind of laying over Rerun just a little bit.
Rerun becomes a rolling
Rerun will sort of do that. Rerun will do the full 360 head spin, and then in binary, with what fucking arms?
Your body mass. And that's what she'll do.
I am not a table. We do not have the proper attachments for these things, and she is not magnetic. I have a small grapple. That is about it.
Okay, so you're trying to drop Corey.
No, I'm trying to grab Corey so that I can basically pick her up
Okay.
on my arms.
So
But using Rerun's head to like knock her down so I get a better angle.
Oh, is this the you get on your hands and knees behind her and I'll push her?
Yeah, kind of.
So she falls on her ass on the floor?
okay.
Not exactly. So she falls into
So
my arms.
I have a quick question for both of you.
Y'all
How
not knocking
encumbered
her
are
out?
you? What's your brawn?
I am.
My brawn is 2.
I believe
How
my
encumbered?
brawn is also 2, and my encumbered is 2 under my threshold.
I am at my threshold for encumbered.
Okay.
Because I've got 4 grenades.
I have a brawn of 4
Plus
and no
assorted-
encumbrance.
Plus assorted.
I'm
That's
also
nice.
locked in a room with none of my gear, so.
Side note, John, if you happen to know off the top of your head, because you play this kind of character, what's the encumbrance of carrying a person?
When you are carrying a person, you are considered over encumbered.
Okay.
I believe that's the flyby rule. I will look for the more specifics.
Yeah, I was pretty sure it was something like that, but I thought there might have been an athletics check.
Yeah,
If not-
I will double check that.
Thanks.
Like general rule of thumb, especially with their brawn being so low,
Yeah.
it's just considered over encumbered.
Okay. So,
Yep.
Corey is not the heaviest person, and she's not wearing significantly heavy armor.
No.
However, that doesn't really help you two. So you're straining and carrying her, but
To be clear, there has been no attempt to paralyze her yet, correct?
Nope.
yeah,
Correct.
as far as I can tell, no, just an attempt to pull you over.
Correct.
She starts pushing and shoving and freaking out and flailing at this point.
Now the paralytic tries to happen.
All right. So you're gonna need to make the roll for that.
Yep.
As both an attack roll and then a whatever the roll is for.
I believe we did that as engaged brawl.
Mm-hmm.
Something. There we go.
Should be
Oh yeah,
difficulty
it's
2.
brawl because you're a droid who has an arm that is a stabber.
Yep.
Poke, poke.
there a difficulty on that?
Brawl engaged is usually difficulty 2.
Yeah. I'll flip a dark side point on this.
Yay!
Can we make the argument
I can use
that
that
Powder has a blue die because Corey is so transfixed by
Nope.
her mother?
Corey, Powder cannot get this automatically because Corey is automatically resisting.
Yeah, had I-
because Corey
had
is
I
active
just-
resisting.
Had I just done it when Corey was completely like standing there catatonic, I could have gotten away with it. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
easily.
Yeah, at this point, there's no chance.
yeah, no. All right, so, fuck me, I can't fucking failure 2 advantages. I can't
Okay,
fight
Corey.
for shit.
And
So-
that's when the stun gun
Yeah.
hits.
There we
Well,
go.
it has to roll before it hits.
Well,
and
yeah.
I'm flipping
Mhm.
another dark side point.
Cool.
Thank you. I'll need those.
I feel so protected by my GM.
I am an agent of chaos.
All right. Dark side point upgrade. Boop. Here we go. Nerp. Nerp. Nerp.
I don't think I've ever gotten
God damn it.
a needle to
Holy
actually.
shit! You just done Powder?
Please say I hit Powder.
Oh man!
Given
Yes.
that this is not a traditional combat situation, you hit Powder as though your failures and threats were successes and advantages.
So that's 5 stun damage.
Wonderful.
Powder, you are electrocuted by rerun.
Stun damage.
And that
um,
is
Damage 3 and stun of 3.
So, Corey, a needle flies past your face and you sort of trip out of the way, still flailing, I assume. And you just sort of accidentally kick Rerun just in the right direction to redirect his strike into
Can it
Powder.
be a cool moment where she's like, she just sees the stun gun coming at her and does not even think about who she's deflecting it to, grabs it and shoves it into Powder.
Yeah.
Ah!
So at this moment, Arik will sort of over to Sayolo. If you would like, I can call upon our assistants to ensure your comrade does not suffer any additional injury in their challenged state.
Yes,
By which
obviously
we
you,
mean Powder.
obviously you can see why we're here looking for new help. Yes, please.
Of course, I understand. It is
restri-
much easier to have those that you have more direct control over.
Agree.
And-
Restrain the girl however you need to and bring her to my room immediately, please.
Of course.
And Sai is just giving like
Yeah.
death glares to all 3 of them.
All right. Yeah. So about at this time,
So
several
usually-
other individuals, you don't know if they heard over sound systems or if he somehow called them because you're in the heat of the moment.
That makes sense.
A number of heavily, not necessarily armed, but sort of bulky Zygarians with some level of armament and a fair amount of armor head over. And
As a clarification for a point made earlier, living beings generally have an encumbrance values of 5 plus their brawn. So
Okay,
yeah.
Corey's encumbrance would still be more than would still put them over encumbered.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's
And as-
5 plus brawn, so whatever
Yeah.
that is.
As a reminder to me,
7.
we were not restricted from bringing personal armaments, correct?
No, but
I mean, not
Yeah.
like coming strapped to the gills or anything.
mhm. I recall that some of you chose to leave some things on the ship, but I don't recall exactly what, so
Right. Okay.
whatever you think you would have.
So normally when situations go so completely fuck nuggets off the rails like this, Rerun immediately just starts swearing as loud and as long as he possibly can, which is why it may surprise the other members of the crew that when Corey grabs him and just tags Powder with his stun gun, he just starts laughing his ass off.
Okay.
And Corey is pulling her blaster out. Set to stun. At the moment.
Sorry, I messed up that character sheet, so I need to get some stuff
Thank
in there.
Goodness for resolve and soak.
All right. So they're going to get off an attack because, again, this isn't traditional combat round, and Corey did just. So. Oh, they're rivals, not minions. Good to know. So Corey, what's your armor, if any? Or not your armor, your shield, if any.
Shield, none.
Okay. So it's just going to be difficulty 2. Yeah,
Oh,
that'll hit.
Shit.
Oh man.
I think Corey
sorry,
is stunned.
I would assume so.
Thank the goddess.
So yeah, one of them just pulls out a